Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Glad to be here.
So today we're going to be looking at The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss.
A classic.
It is, and we've also got like a whole bunch of stories and anecdotes from people who have actually lived this lifestyle.
Yeah, it's
Rip.
put it into practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just theory.
And it's interesting seeing how, Ferris's ideas have kind of resonated and evolved over time, too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me was that concept of like mistakes of ambition versus mistakes of sloth.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Have you ever thought about that, like in your own life?
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes you rethink your relationship with risk,
It does, right? Like, what are you really afraid of?
Like, are you more afraid of failing spectacularly or just never really trying at all?
Right, like playing it safe and then wondering, what if?
Exactly. And Ferris is all about encouraging you to, embrace those calculated risks.
Yeah, like fortune favors the bold, but he actually gives you a plan for Hey W to be bold.
Yeah, he doesn't just leave you hanging with a motivational poster.
And he's got a sense of humor about it, too. Remember that story about his cheesecake experiment?
Oh, yeah, the cheesecake soup incident.
I mean, it's funny, but it also makes a point, right? Like, even a total disaster can teach you something.
Absolutely. You learn from your mistakes, you adapt, you move on.
Did you ever have a cheesecake moment in your life?
Oh, yeah, tons. I mean, it doesn't have to be business related or anything. It could just be trying something totally new.
Stepping outside your comfort zone.
Exactly. And speaking of stepping outside your comfort zone, Ferris has this idea of simulating unemployment.
Oh, yeah, that one's a mind bender.
Even if you're happy in your job, just imagining what would happen if you lost your main income source tomorrow.
It makes you think about backup plans, doesn't it?
For sure. What would you do? How would you survive?
And he even gets into the practical stuff, like exploring retirement account options, figuring out health insurance if you went solo.
He gives you the tools to actually explore those possibilities.
It's like he's anticipating your anxieties and addressing them head on.
Right. He doesn't shy away from the tough questions.
So let's talk mini retirements now.
Okay.
This is more than just a vacation, right?
a whole different way of thinking about time and work.
Like, it's not just about escaping your life. It's about, like, stepping back and re-examining it.
Reevaluating your priorities.
Remember that story about the American businessman and the Mexican fisherman?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
The businessman is working his tail off so he can eventually relax on a beach someday.
And the fisherman is already living that life.
It really makes you question those, like, ingrained societal expectations.
Who's really got it figured out?
Right. And Ferris is saying, like, why wait decades for retirement when you can integrate these mini retirements into your life now?
Periods of 1 to 6 months where you can travel, explore, learn new things.
And he suggests relocating, even if it's just, like, across town, just to, like, break out of those routines.
Shake things up a bit.
Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
Oh, for sure. It's definitely appealing.
I think it would be amazing to just, like, immerse yourself in a new environment for a while.
Yeah, and see the world from a different perspective.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Like, the idea of long-term travel can be pretty daunting for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There are all those fears, right? Like safety finances, family obligations.
Ferris doesn't pretend those fears don't exist.
He addresses them head on.
He talks about families who've traveled the world with their kids.
Single mothers who've navigated safety concerns.
People who've managed their finances effectively while abroad.
It makes it feel a lot more attainable, you know?
If they can do it, maybe I can too.
But he also emphasizes like the importance of research and preparation.
Right, using resources like the CDC website for health information.
And minimizing possessions.
Oh, yeah. Remember that packing list for his Maui trip?
Featherweight jacket, quick dry towel, biometric travel card.
It's pretty inspiring, right?
It is, but it's also kind of like, could I really do that?
He makes a good point, though, about traveling light, physically and mentally.
Yeah, it frees you up to be more present, more open to new experiences.
And remember the settling fund approach.
The buy it there method.
Right. Instead of trying to pack for every possible scenario, you allocate money to buy what you need as you go.
It's about being resourceful and adaptable.
Trusting that you'll figure things out along the way.
Okay, so you've escaped the 9 to 5, you're traveling the world, living the dream.
Sounds pretty good so far.
But then what happens next?
Because Ferris doesn't sugarcoat things, he talks about that potential for feeling lost or unfulfilled after leaving a structured work environment.
Post 9 to 5 depression.
Yeah. And he stresses the importance of proactive planning to avoid that.
Like you've got to anticipate that void and figure out how to fill it.
So how do you do that?
Well, Ferris talks about 2 key components of a fulfilling life.
Which are,
Continual learning and service.
Okay, so it's not just about escaping responsibility.
It's about redefining it, finding new ways to contribute and grow. He shares examples of people pursuing passions, learning new skills, engaging in meaningful service during their mini retirements.
It's about crafting a life that aligns with your values, both internally and externally.
And this leads us to another one of his big ideas, the Margin Manifesto.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting for anyone looking to build a business or even just streamline their current work.
It sounds kind of like a business school lecture, but I have a feeling Ferris makes it a lot more engaging.
Oh, he definitely does. He focuses on practical principles, things you can actually apply to your life.
Like what?
Well, for starters, he talks about the importance of niching down and targeting a specific customer segment.
Okay, so instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you focus on a specific group of people with specific needs.
Exactly. And he also emphasizes the importance of measuring key metrics for data-driven decision-making.
So you're not just guessing, you're actually tracking your progress and making adjustments based on real data.
Right. And then there's pricing and distribution strategies for sustainable growth.
So it's not just about making a quick buck, it's about building a business that can thrive over the long term.
And he's also big on limiting downside risk and prioritizing safety over maximizing margins.
So it's not about being reckless, it's about being smart and calculated.
Exactly.
So he's got all these principles for building a business.
Right. And he doesn't just stop there.
He also talks a lot about like outsourcing and remote work,
Oh, yeah, he's a huge advocate for that.
like delegating those tasks that, drain your time and energy.
Right. Free up your mental bandwidth for the things that really matter.
And he actually gives you like step-by-step instructions for setting up systems for that.
Yeah, like email autoresponders, communication protocols with virtual assistants.
He even shares success stories of people who negotiated remote work arrangements with their employers.
Like, it's possible to carve out more flexibility within your existing job.
You don't necessarily have to quit and become a digital nomad.
Right. It's about finding what works for you.
And he emphasizes the importance of like clear communication and proactive planning.
You got to show your value to your employer. Prove that you can be productive remotely.
It's funny though, like even with all this talk about escaping the 9 to 5,
What do you mean?
he still acknowledges that potential for feeling lost or unfulfilled after leaving a structured work environment.
Oh, yeah, post 9 to 5 depression.
He doesn't shy away from that.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared for it.
It's like he's giving you a blueprint for freedom, but also like a warning label.
A reality check.
So how do you avoid that feeling of emptiness?
Well, he talks about defining your ideal lifestyle first and then working backward to figure out how to support it financially.
So instead of saying, I need to make this much money,
You say, this is the life I want now. How do I make it happen?
that's a powerful shift in perspective.
It is, and it's really at the core of what Ferris is all about.
What resonated with you the most about his approach?
I think it's the emphasis on experimentation and continuous learning. Like, he encourages you to view your life as an ongoing experiment.
Try new things, challenge your assumptions.
And he provides a ton of resources to support you along the way,
Websites, tools, communities, books.
like a whole toolbox for designing your ideal life.
Speaking of tools, did any particular ones stand out to you?
Oh, yeah, definitely his recommendation for using a virtual assistant service.
Like delegating tasks to free up your time and energy.
Right, he even gives specific websites and tips for doing it effectively.
And he's not just talking theory, he shares a real-life examples of people who are actually living this 4-hour workweek lifestyle.
Like the musician in Munich who outsources things like website maintenance and photo retouching,
So he can focus on creating music and spending time with his family.
and the photographer who launched a virtual family photography business,
So he can travel the world and work from anywhere.
and the lawyer who moved to Colombia and set up a virtual law practice.
It's amazing to see how people from all walks of life are applying these principles.
It's not just for tech entrepreneurs or digital nomads.
It's a mindset, a way of approaching life that can be adapted to fit any profession or passion.
And Ferris doesn't shy away from the challenges either.
Oh, yeah. Remember that story about him returning from a mini retirement to find his inbox overflowing with problems?
It's a reminder that things don't always go smoothly.
But it's about maintaining perspective, right? Focusing on the big wins.
Reminding yourself why you made this choice in the first place.
I love that he encourages readers to ask themselves empowering questions.
Like, what is the one goal, if completed, that could change everything?
Or, what's been on your to-do list the longest? Start it first thing in the morning and don't allow interruptions until you finish it.
It's about identifying those high-impact activities and eliminating distractions.
He also talks about managing your energy, not just your time.
like focusing on those high-impact activities, delegating or eliminating low-value tasks.
And taking regular breaks to recharge.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
And setting boundaries, protecting your attention.
Yeah, turning off email notifications, scheduling dedicated time for checking messages.
He compares checking email to fishing for crisis.
Like you're just inviting stress into your life,
Instead, he emphasizes the importance of being fully present.
whether you're working or relaxing.
And I think that's a really important point in today's always-on world.
It's so easy to get caught up in the constant stream of information and demands.
But Ferriss reminds us that we have the power to choose how we spend our time and energy.
We can create space for the things that truly matter.
And he has some great advice for dealing with the inevitable critics.
Oh yeah, the people who tell you you can't do it or that it's not realistic.
He says, ignore the critics. There are no statues erected to critics.
So true. It's easy to get caught up in what other people think.
Especially when you're challenging the status quo.
But the people who achieve great things are often the ones who ignore the doubters and forge their own path.
It's about having the courage to trust your own instincts.
And pursue your own definition of success.
And that leads us to another crucial aspect of the 4-hour workweek philosophy,
Which is
continuous learning and experimentation.
He encourages you to view your life as an ongoing experiment.
Try new things, travel to new places, constantly challenge your assumptions.
And embrace the unknown.
Be open to new possibilities.
He reminds us that we're all capable of achieving extraordinary things.
If we're willing to step outside our comfort zones and embrace the journey,
Even when things don't go according to plan.
it's about having that growth mindset, that willingness to learn and adapt along the way.
He even suggests experimenting with different morning routines to find what works best for you.
Like starting your day with a high-protein breakfast, going for a walk outdoors, even bouncing a handball to get your blood flowing and your mind focused.
It's about setting yourself up for success.
It's fascinating how he ties everything back to this idea of designing a lifestyle that supports your well-being,
Physically, mentally, emotionally.
creating a sustainable rhythm for your life.
One that allows you to thrive, not just survive.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into the 4-hour workweek,
What are your thoughts so far?
what has resonated with you the most?
I think I'm struck by the sheer breadth and depth of Ferriss's approach. It's not just about working less. It's about living more intentionally, designing a life that aligns with your values and aspirations.
And having the courage to challenge conventional wisdom.
To create a life that truly excites you.
Yeah, it's so easy to just get caught up in that daily grind and forget to actually think about what we want.
Right, like what's the big picture?
Exactly, and Ferriss really forces you to confront those big questions.
Like, what do you really want your life to look like?
What are you passionate about?
What kind of impact do you want to make?
And he doesn't want you to just think about it in some vague way.
Right, he wants you to get specific.
Paint a picture of your ideal life.
In vivid detail.
What would you do if time and money were no object?
That's a good question to ask yourself.
It is, and then he gives you the tools to start actually making that vision a reality.
Yeah, it's not just about dreaming. It's about taking action.
And he emphasizes that point over and over again.
Right, it's not enough
Yeah.
to just read about these concepts.
You got to actually put them into practice.
Experiment. Take small steps. Test your assumptions.
And learn from your experiences.
He even suggests things like booking a plane ticket to a place you've always dreamed of visiting.
Or launching a website for that business idea you've been thinking about.
It's about taking those first steps, even if they feel scary,
Yeah, you got to get out of your comfort zone.
and celebrate those small wins along the way.
That's important too.
It's not just about reaching the end goal
It's about acknowledging the progress you're making.
and finding joy in the journey.
Right. Because, let's be honest, life rarely goes exactly according to plan.
Oh, for sure, there are going to be bumps in the road.
But Ferriss encourages you to view those setbacks as learning opportunities.
Adjust your course and keep moving forward.
Success is not a straight line.
It's a winding road.
And he provides a ton of resources to help you navigate that road.
Websites, tools, communities, books.
He's curated a whole library of information to support you.
It's like he's giving you a roadmap, a toolbox, and a support system, all in one.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the 4-hour work week,
What are you taking away from all this?
what resonated with you?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that we have more control over our lives than we often realize.
Yeah, we get so caught up in the day-to-day that we forget we actually have choices.
We can design our own lives.
We can choose to pursue our passions.
You can create a life that truly excites us.
It's about challenging those limiting beliefs and embracing the possibilities.
And remembering that it's never too late to start.
Absolutely, you can start small, experiment, find what works for you.
Take that first step, and then another, and another.
And before you know it, you'll be well on your way to a life you love.
A life of freedom and fulfillment.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the 4-Hour Workweek.
We hope you found it helpful.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into a new topic.